On today's episode of Titus and Tate, DJ Wagner has finally made his decision. Tate, the pick is in. With the first pick of the DJ Wagner sweepstakes, DJ Wagner selects
La Familia.
Not Louisville, is what he said. He said, I don't care where I go to school, just not Louisville.
Well, he started with the L. They heard it, and then he ended with La Familia, and now he's going to Camelot.
The Louisville, the downfall of Louisville basketball continues, and I'm out of words, dude. I'm sick to my stomach.
I'm speechless.
I'm speechless. I can't believe that this man, we knew he was going to Kentucky for a while, but then to do an announcement and where you say that the final two schools are Kentucky, you got to throw some extra ones in there.
Yeah,
you know
Miami,
I mean? Just throw
Auburn,
a few others.
somebody.
Don't put out a thing that says my two schools are Kentucky and Louisville, and then commit to Kentucky on this week of all weeks.
Yeah,
when Louisville's lost 2 1-point games to open the season, and that does include Lenore Ryan. Lenore Ryan.
Also, Milt Wagner, does he still have a job today at this very moment? We're not sure. Thoughts and prayers.
We do not call for jobs on this show, but yikes, Milt Wagner. Yikes.
I mean,
you
but
had one job.
Also respect Milt Wagner because he's like, I got my bag.
Also, is Grambling State better than Gonzaga? The answer may surprise you.
Yes, transitive property.
Yeah,
we're gonna try to figure out what it means that Grambling State beat Colorado, who beat Tennessee.
Greg Sankey leads the transition committee, as we know. What the hell they do, no one knows.
Nobody knows.
But Greg Sankey's in charge of it, right? He's in charge.
Yeah.
Or is it Condoleezza? It's a co.
Both.
It's a co.
I think Condoleezza is like Adam Smith, the invisible hand.
Yeah, we are the transitive committee. You and I. Where they have the transition committee. We have the transitive, where we explain how Grambling State is better than Gonzaga. It makes zero sense. We're 1 week into the season. The transitive committee 1 week into the season is already in crisis. We're already like,
so they're running around the office. Things are on fire.
Yeah.
It's not good.
Amani Bates is averaging 30 points a game through 1 game played. How about that?
I'm fired up.
Yeah,
I watched that game.
Happening.
I saw it happen. I wish that they would have won, but at the end of the day, no one even knows who won. We all know Amani won.
No, Amani Bates won.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's. I don't even know who they played. I don't remember. I just know Amani Bates scored 30 points. Also, is it panic button time for the North Carolina Tar Heels, Tate?
Ooh, some people are saying that, and I kind of like it because it reminds me of the Bubble Boys from last year.
Oh,
I'm like, go ahead and get off the bandwagon. We don't want you. We've never wanted you. I like that everyone's like, Carolina, frauds, get them on my face. And it's not even you, you know, like I respect the fraud committee that you have, but these are other frauds. These are frauds trying to act like they are the fraud committee, and I'm fine with it.
The most important thing is you're definitely not mad, definitely not
I'm not upset. I'm definitely not upset.
But we're probably gonna start the show with DJ Wagner, are we not? That just happened about 20 minutes ago from when I was driving into the show.
Yes.
Driving in to record the show when he made his commitment, and I don't know. I think we have to put the whole saga to bed, so we'll probably start with that. But
I was on an airplane and I was saying, "Oh my God, DJ Wagner," and no one knew what I was talking about. But first, Woody Durham.
All right, we're going to hit the weekend action at some point, including the Friday aircraft carrier game and all the nonsense that entailed. But we got to talk DJ Wagner to Kentucky, Tate, because this was the news that just broke. This just happened. We've been monitoring this situation for a while. Kentucky, the 2023 class that Kentucky's putting together, once upon a time we thought it might have 10 guys. It does not. It has 5. I think they're done now, right? This is it?
I think.
Or who knows?
I mean, who knows? Yeah, I mean, and there's obviously always another player that could end up being the number 1 player the class.
And if there's a new number 1 player, John Calipari has to have him. He has to have him. So it depends on how the rankings shake out from here. But for right now, John Calipari has 5 guys in his 2023 class. They are all number 1 recruits.
Yes.
In some way, shape, or form. It's incredible. We've never seen anything like this. Hand Kentucky the title now. My question is this, Tate. Is John Calipari retiring or not? Because I can't make sense of the decisions this man keeps making where it feels maybe he's going all in on next year.
I was going to say.
And then that's it. It's one last hurrah.
It's given me – we talked about it last year with Mr. K. And, you know, Mr. K obviously idolized John Wooden, and he wanted to leave with a national championship just like John Wooden did in 1975. But people forget John Wooden let everyone know during the tournament when he already kind of knew he was going to win the championship. He was like, this is my last year. You know,
it was like what, the Final Four or something?
Yeah, exactly. I think it was the Final Four, exactly.
Yeah.
But I think Calipari is getting ahead of it, just like Mr. K, and he's saying it's one last run, it's one last push before I go to the NBA, before I am the next Nets coach or whatever it may be, and I have to get the 2 number 1 players in the class, Dillingham and DJ Wagner. Boom, done, and here we go, 2023 / 2020.
This commitment's less about Kentucky to me and more about Louisville. It's like, is Kentucky getting a great recruiting class? We've been there. I've heard that story. I've seen it. I guess at this point, bad things happen in Louisville. I've also seen that, but like, it just what do we do, dude? Like, it's a state of emergency and then some. It's been in a state of emergency. I keep hitting the panic button on Louisville basketball.
When I think about Louisville basketball,
and nothing's happening. It's not plugged in. The button's not working.
The button is not on, but it makes me think of Homer Simpson when he's like talking to Bart, and Bart's like, "This is the worst day of my life," and he said, "This is the worst day of your life so far." That is Louisville basketball, right? So far, this is the worst day. This is the darkest day. And I keep thinking that this has to be the darkest day, and then something else.
You could not script a recruitment that's a bigger kick in the balls than DJ Wagner in Kentucky for Louisville. You could not come up with a scenario that's a bigger kick in the balls. You hire the coach from Kentucky, who's really your guy. You hire the guy's grandfather. Mm-hmm. It's a heavy. John Fanta in July is going on shows saying it's a done deal or whatever.
Done deal. Locked.
Everybody felt that way. We talked about it. We were like, oh my God, Louisville's back.
I think we brought Rutherford on and we were like, Mike,
it's all happening.
Yeah, it's all happening. Bright days ahead. Again.
You're supposed to get Amani Bates this season, and then next season DJ Wagner, and away we go. And that's Louisville. And we're a broken record now. I feel like we've talked about the demise of Louisville basketball every show, like the last 5 shows we've done. But the hits just keep coming, and I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't understand what happened other than this is Rick Pitino cursing the program. Like the ghost of Rick Pitino, that's also a real life human being, but also sometimes when Rick Pitino hasn't had enough coconut water, he gets a little pale on the sidelines. We know that.
Yeah.
He looks like a vampire.
True blood.
He's haunting this program. That's the only thing that makes sense. And I think the only way we can save this, like, the jokes are over, dude. We got to bring Rick back. I'm not joking anymore. It's very serious. And in fact, I'm in a position now where I'm ready to lend my services to the University of Louisville to meme Rick home. I am. Yeah. I'm ready to do that. And I don't do that for anybody, but I'm ready to do it. I've already started. I made the bat signal. I threw that together on my phone. I was like cropping images. It took me 45 minutes to figure out how to do that. Where I when they lost to Bellarmine, shout out to the Bellarmine, the Ballerman. What?
Bellarmine, right? That's
No, dude, it's Bellarmine.
Okay.
Are you serious? Are we doing this again? Jesus, dude. Don't do this. Don't do this. It's Bellarmine.
I'll let it slide. Yeah, it is.
When Louisville lost to Bellarmine, I made the bat signal. It took me forever, but I made it. And I'm ready, dude. I'm ready to meme Rick home. That's the only thing that makes sense to me. Like the shtick is over. This isn't a bit anymore. We're not joking. Louisville is cursed. Rick Pitino, of the vampire that is Rick Pitino, has put a curse on this program. I don't understand my mythology and all of that. I'm starting to get better at it as more like 7-foot guys can shoot threes. I'm starting to learn more about mythical creatures and shit.
Yeah.
I don't know what the stories are with vampires, or some with garlic, right? You're supposed to like wear garlic when they come into a room, or like some with mirrors. I don't know. I need to watch Twilight, I guess.
Yeah.
But
they can't see themselves in mirrors.
That's
do know
what
that.
it is.
Yeah. And I think garlic keeps them away.
And
then a wood stake to the heart is how you
kill them.
Yes. This is all I learned from what we do in the show. So don't fact check me.
I need to watch Twilight or something and figure out how, like, Rick Pitino is a vampire and has placed a curse on this program. We have to bring him back and uncurse the program. That's the only way forward. This is disgusting.
Yeah.
And that's where we're at. So congratulations to Kentucky for getting DJ Wagner. It's not about Kentucky. This is about Louisville. And we have to fix this.
I agree with that wholeheartedly. And you know what? I think Rick Pitino, he might not be listening, but he's definitely feeling it, right? The frequencies, whatever that energy, it is coming back into his space because they played Hofstra on Friday. And look, I didn't watch the Hofstra game. Shout out to Speedy Claxton, great coach. They play Hofstra on Friday, and they lose. And the reason that I knew that they lose is because Rick Pitino, I'm on Twitter. Rick Pitino's on Twitter. I see him post a picture with his grandkid, and he's like, "Some things are bigger than basketball." And I'm like, did I own to lose? Like, why would Rick Pitino post a picture with his grandson unless they lost? I do my due diligence. I see that Hofstra won. Shout out to Speedy Claxton, nice win. But it shows that the eye that was on the prize that we talked about a week ago with Iona this season and making the tournament and making a run, I think Rick Pitino is looking down at Louisville. I think his head is out of the game with the Gales.
Yeah.
And I think he's turning back.
Well, Steve Masiallo's there to take over for him.
Exactly.
This is all part of the plan.
Exactly.
And that's a very Cal move too. And Pitino and Cal, that's the symbiotic relationship they had. That was always they're the Spider-Man meme pointing at each other. They're the same thing.
Yes.
I mean, like, so this is Pitino warming up his juices.
I'm not a pervert. I'm Italian.
Yeah. Did I just say the phrase Pitino's warming up his juices too, by the way? Oh my God. This start to 1 week ago today, Louisville lost to Bellarmine.
Wow. That feels
1 week ago.
Yeah.
They then lost to Wright State by 1. Shout out to my guy, Jared Burson, who once upon a time, I know the name because he once upon a time won a Big Ten Stat of the Week on this show.
Mm-hmm.
He tweeted this stat, that Louisville is the first team to start 0-2 with 2 1-point losses since Arkansas State in 1991-92. That's Louisville. In all of college basketball.
Wow. That's
in the history of the sport,
Yeah.
since 1992, nobody has opened a season with 2 1-point losses until Louisville did it this past week. And just when you thank God the week's over and we can flip it's the start of a new week.
Yeah.
New week, new beginnings. And Louisville fans were waking up on a Monday morning saying, well, how could this get any worse?
Yeah, another 1-point loss. You lost 1 point guard who was going to change your whole program.
You finished second.
Yeah.
DJ Wagner.
At least you were top 2.
What does this mean for the rivalry though? Because I think this is terrible for the rivalry. If you have a kid that can seriously consider both schools, because it feels like if this was like a true good versus evil, and I'm not even saying which side is good and which side is evil, because I'm not a Louisville fan by any stretch of the imagination. I just want them to have a heartbeat again. If one side's good and one side's evil, you can't have a kid who's in bed with both of them at the exact same time and then has his final 2 schools be those 2 schools, right?
I agree.
That's bad.
Yeah, it is bad. And also, DJ Wagner, I have the quote. He was asked about, they were like, hey, DJ, Kentucky-Louisville, what a rivalry. Here's his quote. He said, quote, I feel like it's crazy, the Kentucky-Louisville rivalry. And he continued, that rivalry between Kentucky-Louisville in general and just the history behind it, it's a great rivalry. He has no idea. There is no rivalry. There is no rivalry.
That's LeBron James asked about The Godfather.
Yeah. What's your favorite scene in The Godfather? He's like, man, so many scenes. So many scenes.
There's so many. How do you pick just one? We're like, well, just pick one, LeBron.
Yeah, just.
But what if you were to just pick one? Just pick one.
And he's like, what's your favorite scene? That's the energy DJ Wagner gives off here. And also the fact that your dad is working at Kentucky, but also played for Calipari, who also, I mean, the fact that Rick Pitino coached at both schools, like
that's bad for the rivalry.
Right? That kind of all says it.
Yeah. Anyway, congratulations to Kentucky. I can't make sense of the Cal part of this all. Like I said, the only thing that does make sense, I guess, is that he's making one last run at it. But I thought Cal had gone away from this sort of thing. I thought that was the old version of Cal at Kentucky, was collecting the 5 stars and talking about these kids and all that. But maybe this team, this recruiting class tells me that Cal might really hate this team this year.
Yeah.
He's like so fed, like this, because this team he has this year is the culmination of this new approach of him going to the transfer portal and leaning on older guys and all that sort of
veterans.
Thing. So it was supposed to coalesce this season with your National Player of the Year coming back, CJ Frederick healthy and eligible and all of that, and you have all these old heads at Kentucky with a little mixture of some good recruits, and the signs out of Lexington, he doesn't love the team, Tate. Maybe this is what's going on. Maybe he's like, you know what, screw it, I'm going back to the old love I have, which is 5-star 18-year-olds.
Yes.
I'm collecting all of those. We're making one last run at number 9, and then I'm calling it quits, and that's it.
And what's his favorite word? Potential. I mean, that is what John Calipari thrives on, is potential, and talking about what these kids can be when they turn into my guys. And right now, when you're a veteran, CJ Frederick is already his guy just by time. He's like, that's my guy. But I wish he was a kid. I wish I could talk to him like he's a kid. I even saw John Wall was talking about when he was a freshman and he went there, and he was like, we had to get up at 6 a.m. and we're running suicides, and I'm texting my mom. I'm like, I gotta leave here.
Yeah.
Like, he's like, Cal, like, this guy's crazy.
That's crazy.
And I feel like with vets and things like that, and you're trying to maybe load manage someone like Oscar Tshiebwe, and Oscar Tshiebwe is also making $2 million, right? There's a lot more factors that are at play, and all Cal really wants is like an 18-year-old that's a 5-star that he's like, you suck. Line up. That's all he wants to do. And I think this class, especially with Reed Shepherd being in it, Reed Shepherd's going to line up. He's like,
is DJ Wagner going to line up? Is the guy who signed
is Rob Dillingham going to
name, image, likeness deal with Nike, and then Rob Dillingham, who we know about Rob Dillingham. Are these two guys going to buy in? I don't know. We'll see. But
also, don't they play the same position? Can I ask that? Is that fair to ask? They are both the number 1 recruit in the class. I don't know how that works. And they're both the number 1 combo guard in the class. The only difference is that Robert Dillingham is the number 1 player in North Carolina, and our boy DJ Wagner is the number 1 player in New Jersey. But again, they are the number 1 player at every single site that you can find. And then at the end of the day, they're going to have to play the same position. I'm confused.
Thoughts and prayers to the Kentucky equipment manager. He's going to have to pump up the balls because these guys are going to dribble the air.
Deflategate.
We're going to have a Deflategate situation. They're going to be constantly just putting air back in these balls. Should we talk about actual basketball going on?
Yeah.
I wanted to start with that because first of all, it just happened as we were coming in to do the show. But I don't know. It's a saga that we've been talking about for a long time. We all knew it was coming. That DJ Wagner was going to Kentucky. But I thought the timing of it, Tate.
Mm-hmm.
The timing for Louisville to start the season the way they did. I don't know. It seems
hurts.
like an act of war, honestly.
Yeah. And one last point that I have to make, and I think this was like a larger scale opinion on recruiting. When we were coming up, Worldwide West had cachet. Worldwide West, like every time you heard about a big recruit, you're like, oh, he knows Worldwide West.
Yeah.
Like Worldwide West is making this happen. When Kenny Payne went to Louisville, the whole thing was, oh, well, he's Worldwide West as an actual guy.
Right.
He's in with Leon Rose. He's in with the Knicks. Right. He's gonna be this big man on the block recruiting again. But I think like Worldwide West is out the game. I think it's a different game.
Right. I think you're right.
And I think like you signed up and saddled up to like an old school approach to a new game, and Calipari is like actually adapting and becoming a new version of Cal, whatever that may be. And Kenny Payne is looking at Worldwide West and he's like, where are my Nike guys?
Happened?
And he's like, you're in Adidas school.
Yeah.
He's like, what?
Yeah, do you think today's the day Kenny Payne realizes he's in Adidas school? Yeah, he had no idea.
He's like, are you kidding me?
Wait, what?
He's like, can we drop that contract?
Man, Milt Wagner, thoughts and prayers.
Yeah, thoughts and prayers. Oh. When is that Friday news dump coming? You know what I mean? It's got to be. We're about 2 weeks away from it. Milt Wagner packing up his office. He's going to get hired by Kentucky probably.
He probably would. Knowing the way those two schools operate, he probably will get hired by
What
Kentucky.
A rivalry.
Yeah, what a great rivalry. Should we talk about Gonzaga, Michigan State? I think that was the game of the weekend.
I agree.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Friday's part of the weekend, right? I don't know. Friday night.
Friday night.
The game on the aircraft carrier, bad game. I'm going to say that. It was a bad game, but it was a close game, and it was on a ship, so some people might think it was a good game. It was a 1-point game, but pretty sloppy. A lot of fouls. I couldn't tell if the wind was affecting shots or not because guys would miss horribly, and then Schulman and Billis would be like, of course, we're on it. As a reminder.
Yes, we are on a ship.
We are on a ship.
Yeah.
On the ocean, technically.
We're moving. This is live action.
But then other times, like, guys are hitting threes and making it look smooth. So I'm like, all right, well, if the wind's that bad, wouldn't those guys be, nobody should be able to hit a shot. So, like, some guys are having problems with the wind, others aren't. Anyway, I felt like the game was not a great game, but it's early, too. There's also that. It's like a very early season college basketball game. But my big takeaway was Michigan State may have found something with Sissoko. That was...
Sorry.
Watching Andy Griffith over there?
No, I was trying to pull up the stat sheet here, and then, Andy Griffith popped up. No, you're one big takeaway. Sorry.
Sissoko, the big dude from Michigan State, they might have found something. He's not – he to me, he's the definition of a serviceable big man. That's a phrase that gets tossed around a lot. And what does it mean? It means Sissoko.
Yeah,
it means that's exactly what it means. It means
you can do enough you can do enough dirty work. You can do enough big man things to get me a win, but you're not going to be the one that leads us to victory.
Yeah, there are times where he's like a little rigid and how he runs and how he catches the ball and stuff like that. But then also the guards will just throw it up to him and he can catch it and take his time and then dunk all over people. And he goes after rebounds hard. He fouls out of people, which I think is what Tom Izzo loves out of his big
Loves
man
it.
more than
Yeah.
anything else. It's just Tom Izzo's just yelling every time Tom Izzo has a big man like this. He's just yelling they can't guard. They can't call them all. That's all he's saying to his big man all game. And then Suzuka's looking at him in this game. He's like, they're calling them all. Coach.
He's like, they actually are calling him. He's like, it's good.
Just keep doing
Yeah,
it.
just keep hitting them. I will say, my big takeaway, my first takeaway of this game as I was watching, we talked about Drew Timme a lot. I mean, Drew Timme in this game was obviously the best player on the court, but at the same time, when we talk about the big that he's going up against, it's a serviceable big. You know what I mean? It's not like he's going up against what we saw last year with Memphis when he's going up against Jalen Duren, and that was a different story, right? So, Drew Timme looked amazing. He had, 22 and 13, looked great in this game. But at the same time,
his stats looked amazing.
And
he was great down the stretch.
Yeah,
I'll give him that. He won the game for him.
He did win the game.
He won the game for him. But I don't. I wish I could find the words, and I probably should, because this is literally my job, is to find the words to talk about college basketball players and teams. So, boy, we're gonna try. Let's see what happens.
We'll find them.
But this Gonzaga team in general, they just don't do it for me. I don't know how. Like Drew Timme, just like watching him. And it's not his antics. So, like, there are a lot of people that hate Drew Timme because of the headband and the hair and his, he makes a good pass and he's doing goggles and he's smelling his fingers and he's rubbing his mustache. I'm not even bothered by any of that. It has nothing to do with it. I don't care.
I'm kind of over that.
It doesn't matter. I actually enjoy it sometimes. Like, it's fun. The goggles was a new one. He threw that nice pass.
Yeah, it was good. Yeah.
He started goggling it up. That's not my problem with him. It's more there was a possession in the first half where Billis said Drew Timme has free reign to improvise. It was like perfect timing. Timme gets the ball and like does like a face up on the low block or something like that. And Billis goes, Drew Timme has free reign to improvise because he's so good. Like Mark Few will give him the longest leash ever. And Drew Timme takes one of the dumbest shots you've ever seen. It doesn't hit rim. And then Billis immediately was like, but I'm not sure.
He's like, remember, we're on a boat. Remember, we are on a boat.
He has free reign to improvise, but I'm not sure that's what Mark Few had in mind. And that to me was that's what I see when I see Timme. It's a lot of like putting his head down and like spin movement and like up and unders and like his footwork's great, but it's like there's just something about when I watch him.
It's laborious. It's
laborious. Yeah, and it's like not inspiring. I don't watch it and think like, holy shit, this dude's awesome. I'm just like, I guess, man. That's what I say. I'm like, I guess I see it. I guess like you had 20 and 10, like you're good. I get it. It's not doing anything for me. I don't know how else to say it. It's just not doing it for me.
You know what it gives me vibes of? Colin Gillespie last year with Villanova.
It's
like I respect that you're winning, and I assume that you're going to win, and obviously you're a top 5 team and a top 5 program, and we get it. But boy, is it hard to watch sometimes.
Very different ways they go about it.
Yes,
but the feeling of that I had with Villanova last year is Villanova's beating everybody, and I kept coming on the show, and I was like, I get it. They're good. They're a good team. Whatever. For me and my family, we're out. We just don't like watching it. I don't know.
It's uninspiring.
It's just uninspiring. And
but I respect it.
I respect it. Yeah. I don't know. Gonzaga's at their best when they got 4 guys around Timme. We know this. We saw this in 2021 when they almost went undefeated, and it was Timme and Kispert and Suggs and Ayayi and Nimhard takes over towards the second half of the season, and that was the lineup they're throwing out to start games. And they're wiping the floor with everybody, and they're incredible. And Gonzaga has those big dudes now with Watson and Efton Reed from LSU, and they have like other good big dudes, but they can't play with 10. Like I don't like those lineups.
I was going to bring up Efton Reed because I like Efton Reed. He only plays 10 minutes in this game though, has 4 points.
Because you can't play him with Timme.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like he's
stymied.
A waste of
So when you're looking at this Gonzaga team, it's the meat and potatoes is going to be whatever lineup ends up being Timme with 4 guys around him. And I guess like what's uninspiring to me is that I don't particularly love Timme as like an A++ player. I like him as like a he's we've talked about it. He's good. He's good. He just doesn't do it
really good.
He's really, really good.
Really, really good.
Just doesn't do it for it. And then the 4 guys around him, especially when you're comparing it to like that 2021 to even last year's team when Chet was one of those 4 guys, and Chet's 7 foot whatever, but he played on the perimeter, and like those are the guys that are surrounding Timme. Julian Strother's the guy, I guess. Like I get similar vibes where I'm like, he's good, I guess, but like at the same time, no part of me is like if Julian Strother said I'm entering the transfer portal tomorrow and Ohio State's like one of his 5 schools, like I hope he goes to Ohio State. That'd be awesome. We could use him. But like if he doesn't, I'm not devastated by it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Is that a good way of putting it? Like I would we'll take him, but like I'm not like killing myself if we don't get him. I'm not like we need this guy badly.
And the one guy to me on their team that I was kind of in my own head before I didn't watch the exhibition against Tennessee. I saw the highlights, but I didn't watch it. So this is the first time I've really watched Gonzaga. And Hunter Salas was the guy that I was.
He's MIA, dude.
I was like, Hunter Salas is the guy that I thought was going to take that next step, be that guard, maybe, get 15 to 20 points, something like that. He gets a donut.
Yeah.
He plays 18 minutes and does nothing.
I didn't even know he was out there.
Exactly. So that was my concern. I mean, Bolton seems like he's playing over him, obviously starting. So it's like, I don't know. For me, I'm still trying to find those guys around Timmy. And it is unfair. I will say this. If you're a Gonzaga fan and you're listening to this and you're like, these guys are talking about my team, we're number 2 in the country and we won, shut up. I understand that, but we're comparing Drew Timme through the lens of 2021.
Right.
And then we compared that team last year to that. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like, and it's not Timmy's fault, but it's the same. It's the same game plan.
That's the standard now at Gonzaga is win a national title. And you've looked at teams that can't win national title, or they could have, I guess, but they didn't.
Yeah.
And you're saying these teams did not win national titles. So what has Gonzaga done to get better or to address that? And how? And
that's how we're judging Gonzaga.
Yeah, and that's how I judge.
I'm not judging Gonzaga like compared to the number 15 team in the country this year. Obviously, they're a top 10, top 5, top 2, whatever team. But we're talking about in general to take that next step and win a title.
Bolton is like, that's how I feel about all these guys. It's like, I don't want to say they suck. They don't suck. They obviously don't suck. They're good basketball players. But like Rasir Bolton to me, ideally is your sixth man. Rasir Bolton should be on. When I'm picturing like the Baylor team in 2021 and Rasir Bolton's coming off the bench, I love him in that role.
Yeah,
I love him in that role.
Mm-hmm.
He's incredible in that role. When you're looking at the roster they have now and you're saying this guy might have to be our best guard, and we have and our standard is winning a national championship this year. I don't know if I can get there yet. And maybe he can show me something between now and it's a long season. A lot of basketball left to be played, as they say. The one kid I will say though, Hickman.
Yeah,
I do like
Hickman.
him.
Mm-hmm.
I do like him. The kid from Seattle. Boy, those guys from Seattle.
He can play.
They're bucket getters. Dude.
No,
so I do like him. And the Malachi Smith, the transfer from where do you come from? Chattanooga, is it?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah. He played 30 minutes.
I like him too. So those guys are interesting. If they, if they continue to, they're the question marks, I guess. And if they start
to develop,
maybe
they become those guys, and then we know their names, and we're like, okay, now I see it. But if Ayayi played in that game on the aircraft carrier, he has 20 points.
Yes,
and I know that.
Yes,
and you probably come away and you say Ayayi's the best player on Gonzaga.
Corey Kispert doesn't break a sweat, and he's just like,
I know,
shot after shot on everybody.
That's why I'm saying I understand. We're just trying to contextualize. Like, it's unfair in the current times, but we're looking at the larger picture of Gonzaga and getting that elusive national title. That's the conversation we're having.
So that was kind of, they won. Congratulations. That was it. And I will say that, like, Drew Timme took over that game, and
it was an inspiring comeback. Michigan State was up the entire game.
He got the entire Michigan State front line in foul trouble. And tip of the cap that Gonzaga kept clawing away and brought it back. But when you're talking about like, is this team going to win a national championship, they have a lot of work to do, or they have a lot of things to show me. Maybe they are good and I don't see it yet, and like I need to just watch more and watch it materialize over the course of the season. But, I actually came away more excited about Michigan State than Gonzaga, like because Michigan State, the big question mark is like their big man. I don't know who the hell was going to play center for. Sissoko is the guy that I knew they were going to throw out there, but it's like, who the hell is this guy? He was on the team last year, right? But he barely played, barely did anything. But now, like, being in a role where Marcus Bingham's out of the way and you're the guy, and like Izzo's just saying, like, go out there, like, no matter how many times you screw up, we're going to continue to ride with you because we have no other real options down low. I don't know. I loved watching him in this game because I was like, he's not a guy that's going to give you double doubles every night, but he doesn't need to be. They just need someone. They're playing Kentucky. Sheboy, he's not going to play, but let's say Sheboy is playing tomorrow. I would feel better about Michigan State today than I would have otherwise, because if fully healthy Oscar Sheboy is just ripping that team apart. Now I see Sissoko, I'm like, all right, at least they could throw something at him.
Yeah,
because if it's not him, it's going to be Joey Hauser. And I got news for you. That's not going to end well for Michigan State.
No, I love Joey Hauser. I'm a Joey Hauser guy. I remember what he did when he went in Cameron Indoor, so I respect that man. But yeah, he's not going to be the one that's going to, figure this thing out down low for Michigan State, which I think Sissoko If you actually had Oscar and he does play, they said Cal says he's questionable. He's not playing.
He's not playing. We know he's not playing. I'm just saying hypothetically.
Yeah, but like that actually would be. I would actually like to see Sheboy in this limited capacity go up against Sissoko, and I think that would be a nice kind of way to ease his way back in against a legit big, not a superstar big, but like to get his feet wet a little bit and see where he actually is. But we're obviously not going to be able to see that. But Michigan State won the PR war.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so.
Even though they've lost both times they've been on the aircraft carrier, they have won the PR war.
They continue to win the PR war.
Yeah.
There's still Michigan State still has the problem this year that they had last year, which is they're one NBA caliber perimeter player away from being like if they had a Gary Harris, a Miles Bridges,
if Christie had come back.
If Christie had come back and actually been a first round pick.
Yeah.
Instead of just like a potential, like he was a first round, you know what I'm saying? Like instead of a guy that's like getting drafted for potential and he's drafted because he was actually awesome. They're a top 5 team. This is a top 5 team.
Agree.
They don't have that, and I'm a little worried about that moving forward. Hoggard thinks he's the guy, and he could be.
Mm-hmm.
Hoggard in flashes is awesome.
That's kind of how the Michigan State team is, though. They have like these moments of brilliance, and then they kind of go back to being regular at times. But we should say that Tom Izzo has his best recruiting class in like a decade coming in
next
so
year.
He's building up the talent pool.
Hoggard at one point, I think it was in the second half, or maybe it was in the first. No, it was in the first half. He goes coast to coast, misses the layup. Then there's a foul on the rebound, and then it cuts to him like yelling at his bench, and he's yelling, "I'm here." And I was cracking up on the couch because
I'm here. He might be the new I'm him.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he was yelling, "I'm here!" Like
I'm out here. Yeah,
I'm out here. You see me.
Yeah.
And I was like, I did see you just go coast to coast and miss the layup, but at the same time, I love the swagger because I think Michigan State needs somebody like that. Like Tyson Walker, when you look at like the skill set, I guess like I would circle him as the guy who could carry who they need a go-to guy.
Yeah.
And I guess when you're looking at the skill set, that would be the guy I would pick, would be Tyson Walker. I don't know if he's wired that way. I don't know if he's like going into these games saying, "Give me the ball. I'm going to take over when we're playing on a ship against the number 2 team and the wind's blowing all of our shots every which way and we can't hit any jump shots.
Yeah.
Don't worry. Give me the ball. I'll take care of it." I don't think he's wired that way. I think Hoggard is, but Hoggard can't shoot. I don't know. It's just an interesting make. And then meanwhile, Malik Hall is an X factor who wants to be a go-to guy, or maybe he's like a glue guy who wants to be an X factor. I don't know. I'm still sussing my way through. I'm still trying to figure out what the hell that is. There's just like the mental makeup of some of their individual players doesn't match their skill, and they got to get that aligned. And they also need like an NBA guard. But otherwise, Sissoko showed me something, and I'm more optimistic on Michigan State than I was going into that game for sure.
And the good thing for Tom Izzo is Tom Izzo obviously understands the college basketball game, which is like I schedule primetime games early in the season.
Yeah.
We play it close. They don't have tape on us. They don't know who we are. And, hey, if things go our way, we get a big win, and that guarantees that we make it to March. You know, we have a signature win, and we move forward. And they could have easily had it on this aircraft carrier, and now they're going to have Kentucky. They have multiple chances to get one of those signature wins, and that's all they really need.
Dude, their schedule's
insane. But like you have to give Tom Izzo credit for scheduling the way that he did, because he knows there's a lot of PR, there's a lot of net, there's a lot of BS that comes with this whole bubble watch stuff. And when you have a team that's not necessarily a cream of the crop talent that's going to get you into the NCAA tournament, you have to have a few signature wins, and you have to have the media on your side and say, look, Michigan State's a really tough team, you know?
Yeah.
So when we're in late February, early March, and we're prognosticating about who's going to make the tournament, and Gonzaga's a 1 seed, we're going to say, remember when Michigan State took Gonzaga all the way to the brink and they led all game? Michigan State's got to be in the tournament. You know what I mean? Like, Tom Izzo is playing the long game. You have to respect that. And eventually the ball might bounce their way and they get a big win. And then all of a sudden they're a top 25 team, and we're talking about them in a totally different way.
I respect. I'm looking at their schedule right now. They beat Northern Arizona to open the season.
Yep.
You got Gonzaga, Kentucky on Tuesday, Villanova and the Gavitt games at home on Friday.
Yep.
Then they're in the
Are they in the PK 85?
They are in the PK, the Phil Knight Invitational.
They changed it?
That's what it says on the Michigan State website. The Phil Knight. They play Alabama, then they play UConn or Oregon, and then I don't know who else is in there with it. But then they come back and they play Notre Dame.
I think they can play Carolina in the PK 85. I think the way that the bracket is set up, I think they play Carolina, or they could play Carolina depending on, if they win or whatever, if they're in the winner's bracket. So they could play the number 1 team in the country. They just play Gonzaga, the number 2 team in the country. They play what's Kentucky, number 4? They play the number 4 team in the country, right? One of those games, if it breaks the right way for you, you get a top 5 win. We're money. Who cares if we lost to number 4 and number 2, but we beat number 1? You know what I mean? Like it's.
They could play Carolina.
Yeah,
they could play. They could theoretically, I guess, play Villanova twice, right? Is that what this?
Because Villanova's in the bracket. Yeah,
too?
They're in it too. Yeah.
But how many of those so Kentucky, Villanova, Alabama, UConn or Oregon.
UConn's a top 25 team.
Yeah, PK 85.
Yeah.
Then they come back, they play Notre Dame. Then they play Northwestern and Penn State, who are better than, they've been historically. They're not how many of those games do they lose that will show up in March under the bad losses column? Zero. Even losing to Northwestern, who's not a great team. But Northwestern's shouldn't be a humiliating loss.
And you can let's say they lose to Northwestern after coming off the PK 85 where they beat UConn and beat Villanova for the second time. It's like everyone's like, they're worn out. They just went through a gauntlet. You can explain it away. You can
explain everything.
And that's like the beauty.
That's the game, dude.
Yeah, that's the beauty of what Tom Izzo is doing. So you have to respect that at a high level, because in a world where nobody wants to play each other because everyone's trying to dodge and dip, Tom Izzo says, I'll show up and play you.
Yeah.
And even if I lose, I win.
That's the thing. Yeah, because I just lost on a
It's
chip.
like Paolo Banchero. Even if I lose, I win.
I still win,
yeah.
Dude, don't get me started on that.
I know. I had to. That was too easy.
Oh, my God.
I've never seen anything like it. I've never seen a loser get glorified like this. But
we need to do.
Sometimes when you lose, you win.
You know the Tungsten O'Doyle, I think, if I'm remembering correctly, there's a baseball meme. It's called like the Tungsten O'Doyle tweet that someone tweeted out that every Angels highlight looks like Shohei Ohtani did XYZ. He's the first player since Tungsten O'Doyle in 1912 to do it as the Angels lose 7-3.
Yeah,
that's the meme,
100%,
right?
Yeah,
that's Paolo Banchero. We need a basketball version for Paolo Banchero's rookie season.
Yeah,
because I'm sick of seeing the tweets that are like Paolo Banchero was the first rookie to ever do XYZ, and I'm like, holy shit, dude, they're killing. And then I look up the standings, and the Magic are in last place.
Yeah, and then when he doesn't play, they win.
They lose every single game.
Yeah, when he doesn't play, Franz Wagner plays point guard, and they win. And then everyone's like, "Man, wait till they get Paolo back." I'm like, "Yeah, wait till they get him back."
It's disgusting that man's gonna win Rookie of the Year over Mathurin. Just like that's a you don't know ball situation to me.
I agree. That's a
conversation.
That's a Hooper conversation.
Yeah.
Like the Hoopers.
Yeah, you can talk about your stats all you want. Like Mathurin's coming off the bench. Like Carlisle's purposely manufacturing adversity for Mathurin to fight through. I mean, it's clear as day. And meanwhile, the Magic are handing the keys over to Paolo, who is. Are we sure he's even better than Brady Manick? The evidence we have.
Not the tape I saw.
Yeah.
Not the tape I saw.
Release those tapes. Are they out there?
Yeah, they're out there.
Do they put that on TV?
I got pictures. Moving pictures.
Anyway, enough about that.
Yeah,
I said don't get me started.
But it just goes to show in basketball right now, you can lose but still win. And Tom Izzo is playing that game. So respect, tip of the cap.
Gonzaga won the game, and we're talking about our concerns with Gonzaga.
I know, and that's why Gonzaga fans. I'm like, I understand why you'd be upset. I'd be a little upset too, but that's the world we're in.
I'm done with the aircraft carrier games. I know. It didn't do anything for me.
Yeah,
it didn't. The first one was awesome.
The first one
is you
can never capture that again. I mean, I talked to James Michael McAdoo, who played on that aircraft carrier game as a freshman. I was a freshman in college at the time. He's like, we had freaking Barack Obama sitting there courtside, like came and dapped us all up. Michelle Obama sitting courtside. It was just a scene. It was a spectacle. You had Tom Izzo, Roy Williams. Like it.
I think that's what this wasn't enough of a spectacle.
Yeah,
it was. If you're gonna do it, you got to blow it out. Like Tom Cruise should have been there.
I agree.
And Tom Cruise should have been like, I'm going to attempt to fly this plane.
And if Tom Cruise doesn't come, John Hamm's at least there. At least we have John Hamm and Miles Teller. Let's say we get those two.
The halftime show is all the Top Gun 2 people are playing that weird ass version of football where they're both on offense and defense.
Yeah.
And that's the halftime show. Yeah.
People love it.
Or Tom Cruise is like, I'm going to attempt to take off of the plane.
Yeah.
Off of the aircraft carrier. I'm going to. I'm going to take off in a fighter jet. Watch this, and everyone's like, "Tom, have you ever done this?" And he's like, "No, but I've
watched this.
I've made 2 movies on
it."
So like,
yeah. I'm an actor.
So watch this.
Have you not heard? I'm an actor,
and I do my own stunts. So here we go.
I mean, Lady Gaga sing the national anthem. Like do something where it's like, hey, the A-list of the A-list is here.
Yeah.
Jay-Z and Beyonce.
Yeah. Where was Jay-Z? Where's Jay-Z? Where's Jay-Z? Where's Jay-Z? You're absolutely right, dude. You're absolutely right.
I think I'm playing Worldwide West again.
Honestly, Dickie V should have been there.
Right.
We needed Dickie V there.
Right.
It just wasn't enough for me.
And I think Billis even should have done more. Like, did we get a 94 feet on the aircraft carrier?
Yeah, we should have.
I didn't see one.
No. We should have
We needed that.
We needed Pat McAfee there to like jump in the water.
Yes.
And Pat McAfee's like, I'm gonna do it. And everyone's like, holy shit, he's gonna do it.
Yeah.
And they're like, is he gonna do it?
And he jumps in and you hear his mic like all crinkle and
he's like, guys,
blow up and explode.
I'm gonna do it. And he does a backflip in the water. And then Reese Davis is crying, laughing. Like, I can't believe what I've just seen.
Yeah, he's like, it's crazy.
He said he was going to do it, but I didn't think he was going to do it.
I think he was going to.
And then he did it. Oh my. Yeah, we
needed a spectacle.
Yeah, we didn't have any of that.
So I think we're done though. I think, and if I'm Tom Izzo, I'm never playing on a boat again. I'm 0-2. Never going back.
0-2 on water.
Yeah.
Or should he play on a lake now? A lot of lakes in Michigan.
A lot of lakes. A lot of people are bringing up that Sparta, the actual Sparta, they had a terrible Navy. So there's like some sort of, I don't know, you find the correlation, but there's something with water and the Spartans. So.
Speaking of the Navy, Schulman and Billis were this close to making the argument that like what's the thing people say about football? Am I the only one that thinks the troops could put together a team and compete for the Super Bowl or something? You know, that's the tried and true boomer take or whatever. They were this close talking about the Navy's the greatest team, or the military that we have in the United States is, when you think about it, the greatest team. And they kept saying that line over and over. And I just kept waiting for Schulman to be like, Jay, look around at some of these Navy guys. Like, how do you think they would do against Gonzaga in a game? I was so ready for it.
Yeah.
I think we get that if it's more of a blowout, but it was a close game, so they had to stick to it. But
they were doing their best to get the banter. It's also like kind of an ad, you know? It's like,
that's
the other part. It's like they're just being bad guys, you know? Like Dan Schulman's like, put a little plug in there, Jay. Best team on water. You're a Navy SEAL.
Oh, man. All right, let's take a break. We'll come back and try to make sense of what the hell Colorado basketball is right now.
Oh, my God. Tad Boyle.
All right, let's talk about this Colorado-Tennessee game, Tate, because the transitive committee is trying to make sense of the Colorado Buffaloes. They lose to Grambling State. When was that? That was
Monday.
How many days?
That was
Monday.
Yeah.
Then they turn around and beat a team that you and I were very high on.
I still am very high on. And I still don't understand how this happened. But one of my rules that I like to bring up to people, if I didn't watch it, it never happened in my mind, in my history. So I did not watch this game. I did not see it live. I did. This
was on Sunday. This was 2 days later. On Friday they lose to Grambling State. On Sunday they were playing in Nashville. I think it wasn't. It wasn't in Knoxville, but it was a
neutral.
It was one of the. You know how the SEC does it. They do it with football all the time.
Of course. Yeah, we're playing. Yeah, home and home. You're like, what? Isn't this neutral and neutral?
Yeah.
It's like, gotcha.
How many Georgia football home games are going to take place in the Georgia Dome? It's literally called the Georgia Dome.
Yes. Yeah.
No, it's not anymore, is it? It's the Mercedes.
Mercedes Super, or no, not Superdome. So Mercedes Dome. Yeah.
So Tennessee loses to Colorado. I'm with you, man. I didn't watch this game because when I was excited for it because it was really the only game that stood out to me on Sunday. But Colorado lost to Grambling State, and I was like, all right, well, never mind. I'm not even going to bother watching this. I'll check in on Tennessee later because I know Tennessee's got a decent run coming up with their schedule. I think they're playing Butler coming up, and they got the Arizona game too in Tucson.
Yep,
that's in the non-conference for sure.
I think that's gonna be a great game.
But they got Butler to open the Bahamas, so I was like, I'll have plenty of time to see Tennessee. I've never been more shocked. You texted me the final score. I've never been more shocked. Like, you talk about like a whiplash of two teams. It's not just that Colorado lost to Grambling State and then beat Tennessee. They lost by 9 to Grambling State. It was not a close game.
Yeah.
Then they turned around and beat Tennessee by 12. This was not a situation
where
not a close game. This is not a situation where the ball bounced the wrong way and they snuck one out and they were like, let's jump on the bus and get the hell out of here before the refs review it and whatever against Tennessee. They straight up beat Tennessee, and and I'm a little concerned. We both love Tennessee after the exhibition game.
I was gonna say Tennessee beat Gonzaga in an
exhibition the hell out of
game.
Gonzaga.
Exactly. So like, what does that say? Is Grambling State the best team in the country? I mean, that's what some people are. The transitive committee has never been in more shambles.
I'm shook. We're 1 week into the season, and Grambling State might be number 1 in the country.
And I like Grambling State.
And I like Grambling State, but if Grambling State's number 1 in the country, we have bigger problems. We got a problem.
We got a big problem.
But the Tennessee guards in this game, 4 for 17 from 3. Vescovy and Ziegler, I'm talking about, 6 for 25 from the field. And I mean, like Colorado, it didn't even look like Colorado played that well. Again, like I didn't watch the game, but like
Simpson was the one that I saw in the highlights. He had 23 points for Colorado. I mean, he was the one that I guess was spurred all the scoring for Colorado. But at the end of the day,
I'm admittedly box score watching, so I don't know what the hell happened, but Colorado they didn't necessarily win the turnover battle. They weren't. The rebounds were pretty like everything's pretty even. This Tennessee's offense is anemic.
And if you look,
and that's the concern with Tennessee, dude. That's why I'm actually concerned is because this was not supposed to be the case with this Tennessee team. Tyreek Key's in Knoxville now, and he's like one guy's not going to solve all your issues, but at least you have a guy that I've seen put the ball through the basket before.
Yep.
Which can't be said about a lot of the Tennessee guys. Dude, I might actually be concerned. I don't know. I'm hoping this is just we can just dismiss this later and say like it was early and this doesn't count. But
I hope it's a blip. But then when you look at, like you said, look, we're just looking at the box score right here. But when you look at it, right, both teams shoot 30% or less from three. So it's not like Colorado was like hot from 3-point line that blows your mind. Rebounding wise, Colorado out rebounds them by 9. So that's a little bit of a red flag that
they out rebounded by 9 because Tennessee missed so many shots. It's
true.
Yeah.
And then, I mean,
it's easy to grab rebounds.
Colorado had 19 turnovers, and they won by 12.
It's crazy.
Like, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
In what world? But the only thing I can think of is that Tennessee as a team, maybe they're like, we're playing in Nashville or whatever. We see that these guys just lost to Grambling State. We overlook them. We're not all the way locked in.
Okay.
And we're just kids. We're just kids at the end of the day. So I think it's just a blip. If it's blip or bomb, I'm siding with blip.
Well, there are certain programs that could get away with this, and I would trust them moving forward. But Tennessee is not one of them.
No.
That's.
But
like when I'm filling my bracket out in March, and I'm looking at Tennessee, and they're staring me back in the face, and they're probably like a 2 seed because they win the SEC, and they lose like 7 games on the season, and they're actually have put it together. They've won 9 straight entering the NCAA tournament. They won the SEC tournament again. Everything's going well for Tennessee. I'm going to remember this game. Yeah. I'm going to say, how the hell did they lose to a team that just lost to Grambling State?
And it's also Rick Barnes historically has started out great. Like things have always been going great for Rick Barnes, and then he kind of basically flames out at the end of the season. So the one thing I will say is maybe, just maybe, Rick Barnes has heard all the negative stuff about him in March, and he's taken a play.
He doesn't want to peak too soon.
Well, he's trying to be like Roy Williams. He's like, or Tom Izzo. He's like, oh yeah, I'm not going to help these guys early. I'm going to let them loose, and then I'm gonna go. And then I'm gonna go to the press conference. I'm gonna make them feel it, and we're gonna learn, and we're gonna grow, and we're gonna get better because we're playing for the larger goal of trying to win a national championship. So maybe Tennessee's playing the long game. Again, I am on the record. This is a blip. It doesn't make any sense. I will never understand how this happened, and I hope that it doesn't get brought up anymore in my face because I think Tennessee's a good team. I still think they're a good team.
Grambling State is going out west on Friday. They're playing Grand Canyon. Then I assume they're going to stay in Arizona and play Arizona State on Tuesday. I'm pants if I'm those two. That's a game Arizona State loses. What if Grambling State beats Grand Canyon and Arizona State? Are they ranked?
Yeah,
do we have to rank Grambling State?
I mean, I think if Grand Canyon beats Grambling State on Friday, they should rush the court. Because you just beat the number 1 team in the country based on the transitive property of college basketball. So if I'm Bryce Drew, I'm telling my guys like we're playing the number 1 team in the country and like treat it as such because Grambling State, they're nothing to play around with and they're coming in hot. Maybe the hottest team in the country.
Speaking of the number 1 team in the country, what's the North Carolina panic status?
Ooh, honestly, I mean, from the outside looking in, for the bubble boys, as I like to call them, they are probably looking at North Carolina and they're saying they're probably get him out of my face mode. And here's why. And here's why I would agree with that. First game, 4 assists as a team.
That's concerning.
That is major concern.
Yeah.
Major concern. I watched that game, 4 assists. I'm like, this is not good. The biggest problem, though, is not just the assists. And, like, they had a moment. R.J. Davis and Caleb kind of had a little moment with each other. Because, again, what do we...
Did they kiss or something?
No, they had... R.J. Davis didn't pass in the ball, and Caleb... Like,
like a bad moment.
Yeah, he kind of, like, got mad. And then Hubert got him and was like, let's... You know what I mean? And we remember last year, what was the issue? Caleb was trying... All these NBA heads are like, you got to have the ball in your hand. Drew Hanlon's like, you got to have the ball in your hand, you know? And R.J. Davis is this amazing point guard who is the point guard of the team, and Caleb is like, I'm the point guard of the
Caleb's
team.
like, I've been reading some stuff online.
Yeah, he's like, Drew Hanlon.
I did my own research.
He's like, Jason Tatum and Drew Hanlon have told me that I actually am the point guard. So that is concerning, that, you know, the assists, because if a good basketball team, a good Carolina basketball team, I look at the final box score of a game as 20+ assists. Look at Arizona, right? I think I saw some stat. They've made whatever many field goals, and then it was like 58 of 66 field goals or whatever the number was. I can't remember off the top of my head. But regardless, like, basically every field goal they make is an assisted field goal, which is, all right, we're playing good basketball.
Probably not 58 assists.
No, I know. But, you know, whatever the number. I can't remember what it was off the top of my head.
Or on the season, maybe.
On the season is what I'm saying.
Okay,
on the season so far through however many games. But in general, you see that and you're like, all right, that's concerning. But the rebounding is really what worries me. The rebounding goes back to one man, Armando Bacot. And Armando Bacot was great scoring in this game. Carolina ends up basically blowing out College of Charleston, even though they were down at halftime. But I'm a little concerned about Armando Bacot's rebounding and the energy and the effort. And it's not... I don't think it is an energy and an effort problem. I'm worried it could be an ankle problem, because it's the ankle where the floor. Remember last year in the national championship game when the floor moved,
right? And
no one cared because they were like,
"So what?
We don't care."
He's had a sprained ankle for 8 months.
Well, I think the ankle. I hope the ankle is going to continue to get better, is what I'm saying, and I think that activity level will help with the rebounding, which will then help with the overall.
Is this going to be like an ankle injury
basketball.
that when he plays well, he was feeling fine? And
yeah, he's feeling great.
It goes ebbs and flows.
Well, he felt great.
Ebbs and flows.
He felt great tonight. You know, that's all it is. Like, when he plays well, he felt great tonight. But those are the things that I flagged. The rebounding, Armando Bacot's ankle has me a little bit concerned. Also, Pete Nance as the 4, I think Pete Nance will end up being the backup 5 for Bacot. And I think that Puff Johnson, who is healthy, practicing today, supposed to come back for the November 24th game against Portland. I think Puff will end up being the Brady Manick role. Leaky will end up being the 4. Bacot will end up being the 5, and Pete Nance will end up being the backup 5.
That sounds like a better.
That I think is going to end up being the quote unquote Iron 5 of this North Carolina team. But your original question, should we be worried about the number 1 team? Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Because I, in all honesty, I mean, like, one of the concerns I would have had coming into the season is
it's fair to be concerned based off what I said. The assist, the rebound.
Yeah, there's only one ball, and if there's one team in the country that has a slew of guys that look in the mirror and say, I'm the best player on the team. I'm him.
Caleb Love wakes up every day and says 3 letters to himself, HIM.
Yeah. But meanwhile, Bacot's the one that's the preseason All-American. Caleb Love's like second-team All-American. R.J. Davis is maybe the best point guard.
Maybe the best player on the team.
Maybe the best player on the team.
Yeah.
Maybe the best point guard in the country. These are things people are saying about him. Leaky Black threw a pass off the backboard against Baylor. Not exactly relevant to this thing I'm saying, but it did happen.
Leaky Black won the game against College of Charleston, in my opinion. He didn't miss a shot in the game, has 15 points. So, like,
I'm not worried about Leaky.
Leaky,
I'm not worried about.
That's what I'm saying. There are encouraging signs where you're like, one, it's like Leaky can play the 4 now. He has the size to play the 4, I think. So there are encouraging signs, but I look, I'm not free of concern.
Yeah.
Is it a blip or a bomb? I think it's a blip. I hope it's not a bomb.
Just hope that people weren't paying attention, because you guys won by 16, right, against Charleston?
Yeah, exactly. Well, and it turns out a lot of people were paying attention to the first half.
They were paying.
Then they stopped watching and did not
like
see.
halfway through the second half.
They didn't watch the second half.
All right. Well, I
did you watch the second half?
I was watching the score.
That's what I'm saying. But it's okay, because you're the number one. You're the number 1 team in the country.
No,
you have to take the heat. And I think that North Carolina, this group in particular, they are. This is the first time they've had to accept the heat, right? You have to accept.
We're the number 1. We're the top 5 team, but especially the number 1 team is losing, and it's well with it. Like, the game is, there's enough game that has happened where you're like, oh, this might be something, and your eye emoji and your friends.
Yes.
And then they start to pull away late, and you just pretend like it never happened.
It never happened.
That's one of the great traditions in early season college basketball.
Of course.
You're just like, what? I did what?
Yeah.
I never unsend text.
Also,
delete tweet.
I'm going to be honest. Like the disrespect for UNCW as a basketball program and the disrespect for College of Charleston from the national public.
Stop
I'm
it.
like,
Stop
what are these people talking about? It's not like you're playing South Carolina Upstate, whoever the hell that is.
Stop.
We're playing real teams.
Stop.
Playing real programs. They're going to make the tournament.
Carolina has dropped to 12th on Kid Palm, by the way.
That's why I'm not subscribed. I mean, my God.
Ken Palm, yeah, let's do a Ken Palm update. Kentucky at 1, Texas at 2, Gonzaga at 3, Houston at 4, Virginia at 5, Baylor, Tennessee, Indiana, Kansas, Duke, UCLA, North Carolina.
Who's Can I ask you this? You have those 12 teams right there. Who is the best team that you've seen? Just eye test, which is, again, I think this. What is the best team that you've seen that you're like, I think that's the number one team in the country?
Butler, for sure.
Okay. I mean,
Butler
looked pretty good.
If we're basing it off of what I saw.
Yeah. I saw Louisiana this weekend. I think
Butler,
they might be.
Butler's defense forced like 30-something turnovers.
Yeah.
How many turnovers?
They were high flying. I mean, I did like that. But to me, honestly, the best team that I have seen, it's a toss-up between Houston and Baylor.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be those two. I mean, Houston
and Baylor are the two teams that I'm like.
Houston is diet 2021 Baylor. Maybe not even diet. I don't know. We'll see. But like that is in the same way when I look back on our show in 2021, and I was high on Gonzaga all year, and admittedly probably shouldn't have been. Baylor was better, but like Baylor wasn't sexy. Baylor wasn't fun like Gonzaga was. Gonzaga was winning by 30 points. It felt every single time they touched the court. And it was just there was something about watching Gonzaga. It was like this team is complete, and Baylor's a little more gritty, but they just stayed the course, and they were the same team all season.
And I love those three guards. I mean,
and then Baylor had the Iowa State COVID game though, right? That like Iowa State was dog shit, and they gave Baylor a good game.
Yeah.
So maybe I shouldn't be so hard on myself because that was alarming. Well, I remember that game.
I think that might be the Colorado Tennessee game of this year.
Okay. But I'm getting those vibes from Houston this year that it's going to be that kind of season where they're good, but I like we almost don't even talk about them because like the way they go about it is just like a python, like just strangling people.
Yeah.
It's just like I don't know. Houston won again. They held another team to 25% shooting, and
I think there's a world in which I keep trying to figure out what's the first game that Carolina loses. Is it going to be Indiana or is it going to be Virginia Tech? They're back-to-back games on the road. So it's going to be one of those games. But when that happens, I think Houston takes over number one at that point. And I think Houston will be number one until they lose to East Carolina inexplicably at some point in the conference. But I think Houston's the team that you're like, I could see them riding the year as the number one team, right? And just holding on to it for quite some time.
There's this as well. I mean, Houston's schedule is not – Houston plays Oral Roberts. Ooh. Should watch that one. Is that one on Max Asmus? Remember that guy?
Love that guy.
That one's tonight. Wow. Oh, ESPN Plus.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, here I'll tell you. ESPN Plus. They play Oral Roberts. ESPN Plus again. They play Texas Southern. They're on ESPN against an Oregon team that just lost to UC Irvine. So like that game, once upon a time, probably had some juice. Should have been a good
game, but not now. Yeah.
But like, is it gonna? Oregon's not gonna be ranked. Oregon's not ranked in the new poll. It's so when that game happens, it's not gonna move the needle for nationally.
Yep.
I'll watch it, but it's not gonna move the needle. That's on ESPN. Then Kent State, Norfolk State, St. Mary's could be a good game, but like St. Mary's, Houston again.
Yeah.
Like, are we grabbing the nation by the balls and saying turn this on?
The general fan is probably not. Yeah.
They play Alabama in December.
That's good.
That could be pretty interesting. They play at Virginia. In December as well.
That'll be the game. That'll be the game.
Outside of that, dude, and then you get into the American schedule, and it's just kind of so like my point isn't that Houston's not good. It's just that like the situation where they're playing Gonzaga on an aircraft carrier and the whole country's watching is not going to happen.
Yeah,
it's just not going to be a game. So they're just going to continue to ho hum beat teams. They might be undefeated. For like honestly, they might go undefeated entering the NCAA tournament.
That's what I'm saying. They might just be number one all year,
and they just might just be number one. But like no one knows
excited
about.
No one even knows who the best player is. No one's even really watching them. But everyone's like, yeah, Houston's number one. It's kind of like a de facto thing, which is
Virginia's the big one. I mean, like if I'm looking at all that, it's at Virginia. It's a true road game at Virginia. That's the one that'll. I think most people will be.
And if I'm Tony Bennett, like I'm circling that game. That's a we're back and we're trying to make a national championship run again kind of game for Virginia. So
with St. Mary's, St. Mary's is good. I don't know. the schedule's leaving a lot to be desired, which was always my problem with Houston.
Of course.
And I'm excited for them to join the Big 12 because we will not have this problem.
Not at all. Not at all. But I think by that point, Houston will be a legit, like, they'll be one of the top 10 programs in the country across the board.
Shout-outs, closeouts. Or is there anything else you want to...
I mean, I did bring up Rick Pitino losing. That was one of my big shout-outs because that got me worried. But it opened the door to our whole conversation about Rick Pitino coming back to Louisville. So I just want to shout out, even though we started so bad on Louisville, I want to shout out the fact that I think brighter days could be ahead. I think this could be...
I was gonna call Mike on the show, live on the show.
Yeah, we do need to talk to Mike.
But he's doing it. He's doing his radio show, and I was texting with him this morning, and his official statement on Rick Pitino back to Louisville. I'm gonna read you his text.
Please.
This is
we need the official.
I go to one source for Louisville basketball, and it is Mike Rutherford. He said, "I would give both my pinkies to have Rick back." That's what he said. That's a direct quote.
I mean, Mike, cut your pinkies off. Time. It's time.
Cut your pinkies off.
Yeah, we need Rick Pitino back. And I think Rick Pitino needs Louisville. I really do. Sometimes some things are meant to be. So shout out to Rick Pitino. He knows what he's doing. He needs to come back home.
Shout out to Monty Bates, 30 points versus Michigan. I said it at the top. I just want to shout him out again as well.
Yeah, I love that.
We're rooting for him. Those are two guys we made a lot of jokes about that we're rooting for.
I agree.
That we're gonna pretend like we never did make that. We're gonna say shame on anybody who laughed at these men. It's not funny.
Yeah.
And the redemption story, we're gonna be applauding them. And Monty Bates had 30. I still, if I'm being completely honest, I still hate everything about his body and how he moves. And it's not great.
It's also
it's not just that he's skinny. It's like how he moves and like his knees are like pointed inward. Like I don't know. It's just a whole. He's like a little hunchback. I don't know. It's bad vibes watching him like run up and down a court. But I don't know, man. When he gets the ball in his hands, he can make some magic happen.
And I did appreciate, just like from a competitive standpoint, not my only concern, but one of my big concerns with Amani always was like, did he have, for lack of a better term, did he have that dog in him, And against Michigan, like you could tell he took it personally because I'm sure he reached out and was like, I would like to play at Michigan.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think he wanted to send a message to them like, I'm really that guy. I'm really one of them ones. So kudos to him for performing.
Should he opt
level.
out? Do you think?
Yes.
Should he opt out for the rest of the season?
He should sit.
He scored 30 points.
Drew Hanlon has texted him. He should sit out. He should also play point guard. Everyone should play point guard.
2 shots at Drew Hanlon in one podcast. Dude.
I'm not taking shots.
Do you like Drew Hanlon?
I like Drew.
You didn't even say it. I like Drew.
No,
Hanlon.
I really like.
Okay,
all right. I think he's a good trainer. Isn't Jason Tatum up for like MVP? That's what they're saying. That's all Drew Hanlon. That's what I know. Shout out Jalen Clark of UCLA.
Yeah.
And shout out UCLA in general. That is, as you asked me about North Carolina, it has not been so inspiring. But you know what has been inspiring? Watching UCLA.
Your second team.
My second team. My second team. Close blue. Not the same, obviously. But UCLA, you got Tiger Campbell, you got Jaime Jaquez, but if you watch their first 2 games, like those guys have been not afterthoughts, but like they don't have to be the guy.
They see the vision.
Exactly.
It's a marathon, not a sprint. They're not trying to.
They're
load managing right now.
Whatever Jaime Jaquez did for his ankles, I need Armando Bacot to get his doctor, and I don't know if he's in LA. I will track down the doctor. I will get Armando out here if need be, because Jaime Jaquez is running, moving, looking great. Jalen Clark looked amazing. Looks like an actual star. So UCLA, I said that I thought they were going to be a Final Four team. What I've seen in 2 games, looked the part. Shout out to them.
I want to shout out to the Temple Owls, Tate. B Villanova.
First time in 10 years.
First time in 10 years.
Big 5, baby.
10 years ago, Temple won the Big 5 too. That was the last time Temple won the Big 5 championship. What is it called? Big 5 title, Big 5.
Let's say Big 5 championship.
Whatever.
Yeah.
They give a trophy for that.
I think so.
Do, right?
I think they do. Yeah.
Yeah. Villanova didn't have their 2 best players. Doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
Do not care.
And Aaron McKee, the coach for Temple. I mean, that's just cool.
He's another alum. Like that's the trend. The former player is now
Speedy
your coach.
Claxton and Aaron McKee with 2 huge wins this weekend for like the former player turned coach.
Yeah.
Patrick Ewing, what are you doing? Get a big win. So
Kenny Payne, what are you?
Kenny Payne, what are you doing?
Shout out to our friends. All 3 of us are friends with these people. Wes Kaminsky and Tanya Hubbard.
What are they doing?
They're Temple.
Oh,
the Temple. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I was thinking of Temple grads in my life.
I thought it was like
no.
Holy crap!
No.
I was like, what are they doing? They're doing
2 people that we've worked together.
Oh yeah, I love them both.
We've all 3 worked with went to Temple. So I'm going to shout them out. They might listen to the show. Probably not. I don't know.
Oh, I love that. And Temple also is one of those schools. We did our Sleeping Giants podcast where we tried to, find programs that should be good that aren't as great as, San Francisco, Loyola Marymount, stuff like that. Temple is one of those programs that is not that far off the beaten path when it comes to where their standing is. But I would love to see Temple get back in the fold as a top 25 team. And
the door is open.
Yeah, the door is open.
Jay Wright is gone from Villanova.
Great. Honestly, you think Jay Wright loved that. I think Jay Wright, a little like deep down, like way deep. The ego plays a little bit into it,
Jay Wright has to have. You can't be perfect. You can't be a perfect human being.
Yeah.
Some part of you has to be. There has to be something about him because like everything else, he just seems like the nicest guy ever and all that. But there has to be one little iota of him that's like, I won't lie, I loved it.
Yeah, he's like, I'm the best.
They miss me.
Yeah, he's like, they miss me.
I love that Villanova misses me, and also the Sixers want to hire me. I love that that's where I'm at, and I'm not working for either one of them.
Yeah,
I love.
And I'm gonna live in this limbo for as long as I can, where everybody wants me, and I continue to just be like, oh shucks.
Quick Pac-12 update: UC Irvine beat Oregon. I already mentioned that. Arizona State lost to Texas Southern in overtime.
Saw that.
So, woof on that one, and then. Colorado beat Tennessee. I don't know if you saw that.
I still can't believe
Pac-12 update was about to be really sad, and then Colorado beat Tennessee, shockingly. But Wyoming, Tate, lost to a very bad Southeastern Louisiana team. Andy Katz is in shambles.
Yeah.
Someone get Andy on the phone.
Yeah.
That was a surprise team. Wyoming, Hunter Maldonado, is the Colin Gillespie. He's the ass man of college basketball now that Gillespie's gone. He is the point guard. He's going to back his ass down to the post and
love that.
Try to go up and under all night. Woof. The last time we saw Wyoming was Hunter Maldonado was doing that very thing against the Indiana Hoosiers in the play-in game. It was not going well for him. And now they're losing to Southeastern Louisiana. So scrub the tapes. Andy Katz never came on our show and said he liked Wyoming. That never happened.
I do think there needs to be like a lot of. I feel like a lot of the NCAA tournament, like the last thing we saw sticks in our mind too much sometimes with these teams, whether it be TCU. I mean, even Carolina is obviously, there's a little bit of that with them where everyone's like, well, the last time I saw these guys,
Max Asmus, Oral Roberts.
Yeah, exactly.
I just looked up Houston's schedule and I was like, oh, could be good. Max Asmus was pretty good 2 years ago.
It doesn't always translate 1-to-1. It's a totally different team.
I think that might be it. Oh, Yellowstone's back. Shout out to Yellowstone.
Nice.
That show. You watch that show, right?
I love that show. That's a great show.
Love it.
Yeah. I saw like there's a big sign outside with John Dutton. Did you see that? The Fox sign?
Costner.
But I think it's
his documentary about the Yellowstone. It was very confusing.
It's about the actual Yellowstone Park, right? And it's
yeah.
like narrated by Kevin Costner about Yellowstone National Park.
Does he narrate it as Kevin Costner or John
Dutton? That's what I was
Is he holding like a coffee mug in the kitchen and or on the front porch in the rocking chair, and he's just like,
yeah,
we're a family, Beth.
Yeah. I mean, maybe. I won't rip in there, too. I won't rip, like, just kicking down a door or something,
As an actor myself, I have no choice but to applaud the way Costner plays that role. And every time he's talking about his family and his ranch and his land and everything, and he just hams it up to 1,000. He's like, I killed it. Yeah, I killed those men, Beth. I did. I killed them.
Yeah.
But I did it for this land, Beth.
Yeah.
For this ranch, Beth.
How many people has Casey killed since season 1? I'm like, Casey's up to like 60 murders, and not one person has checked him.
If killing people is what I have to do to keep this ranch, Beth, well, goddamn it, I'll kill this whole town.
It's like, I guess this is the moral quandary.
This is our land. I just love it. He's always talking to Beth, too, in my mind.
Yeah. I mean,
every scene is just like, Beth, yeah.
Yeah, and then Beth's like drinking like bourbon out of a coffee mug.
He's always like talking down to Beth. Like Beth doesn't understand, but like everything we see out of the character Beth is that she gets the game more than anyone else.
More than anyone, yeah.
But then her father, every time he talks to her, he's like, I got to explain what this land is, Beth. She's like, yeah, I get it.
It's like, Dad, I love this land.
Dad, you've been doing this to me every day.
I love this land. Can I one last shout out? This is a little bit for me, but I didn't watch
it.
I didn't watch it.
I feel like we just did it right.
Honestly, it was a good first episode of what we just did. I have to shout out my guy Drake May before we get out of here. Quarterback Drake May. The Heisman campaign is officially on. He won the walk.
I'm with it, dude. I want Drake May to win.
Walter Camp Award winner, best offensive player in the country this week. He wins that. I was in Asheville in North Carolina. I had Coach Dave Odom, who was at Wake Forest. I had Roy Williams, who was at North Carolina. They had a wager going on for this game. A lot of Wake Forest fans talking about Drake May to me about how he was going to get exposed in this game, and my boy just delivered again. And I don't want to see him fail. I don't want to set him up for failure. I just want to say I've never been in love with a quarterback like this man. I've never seen someone play.
I'm with you, dude. I'm on the Drake May for Heisman.
I'm not.
And I say that my quarterback
is also
up for Heisman. Might be the favorite.
I think.
And I would, if I could push the button and have him step aside so Drake May could win it, I would push that button for you, Tate.
Thank you.
Because I think he probably is actually better than CJ.
I mean,
he's incredible. He is incredible. And also,
and you played quarterback, so you have to appreciate
at a very high level.
That's what
the dogs.
For the dogs, but you have to appreciate I don't know. There's just something about it, Like I don't know what the X factor quality is. No one has been able to pinpoint what makes a great quarterback. But when I watch Drake May play.
No, you are right.
Impressed.
Like I not to be the guy that likens your high school career to like actual guys that are playing at an actually high level, but I do that when I watch football. I'm like, dude, I would have my pants in this situation.
Yeah.
This is incredible that this guy can do this. But that's how all sports are. I mean, it makes you appreciate what someone's doing if you yourself do it. Like you have a greater appreciation for golf if you start picking up golf and you're like, oh my god, putting's so much harder than I realized.
Yeah.
So yeah. Drake May's incredible, but also I'm kind of over the Heisman talk around Ohio State all being on C.J. Stroud when like anyone with two eyes and a brain knows that Marvin Harrison is
the Heisman
by far the best player on Ohio State, and not even Ohio State, the best player in the country, and he should be the Heisman favorite probably. But he's like not even anywhere.
No, I would actually be more in line with that to say Marvin Harrison Jr. would be the guy that could be.
He's
like
the best.
Face.
He's the best football. Of all the people that you say play your position as well as you possibly can.
Yeah.
Nobody in this country is playing it as well as Marvin Harrison does, and he's not even sniffing a Heisman Trophy.
He should win the Biletnikoff Award, right? I mean, right? That's like a for sure thing.
If he doesn't win, who's like?
I mean, Josh Downs at Carolina will be in that conversation, but like Marvin Harrison Jr.
If Marvin Harrison doesn't
guy.
win it, burn the whole system to the ground.
I agree.
I'm gonna call John Dutton, and he's gonna go. I'm gonna go kill those men.
This is my land.
Bet sometimes you gotta.
Yeah, that's I will also, as far as the college football playoff, I was reading all the scenarios and things. I need your Buckeyes to beat Michigan, so I'm officially pulling for the Buckeyes because
Carolina's on the bubble. Is that what you're saying?
Because of the Notre Dame transitive property, Carolina's one loss is Notre Dame. Ohio State beat Notre Dame. So if Michigan were to beat Ohio State and there's like Ohio State versus North Carolina for the playoff, we would lose out because of transitive property.
All right, so let's walk through. SEC's getting their champion in, definitely.
Of course, Georgia.
So it's going to be Georgia, but if it's not Georgia, then we're in real trouble.
Then we're in real trouble. Then I'm done.
Yeah,
then I'm out.
Then you're out.
I'm praying to God, Georgia.
But if it's Georgia, Georgia's in.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say whoever wins Ohio State, Michigan goes on to beat whoever the hell they're going to play in the Big Ten West. They're in. If it's Ohio State that loses to Michigan, you're saying Ohio State would still be above North Carolina.
Yes.
But if Michigan loses to Ohio State, there's a way Carolina can jump because Michigan's strength of schedule has been garbage, and
and there's not the transitive property.
But TCU's still in the mix. But everyone's talking about TCU like they're going to lose any day now.
I know.
Like, won't.
I know. Even this weekend with Texas, like I had people talking to me about like as if they already lost. I was like, "Are you sure Texas is going to win?" And then Texas didn't win. TCU is
going to be undefeated and not make the playoff because everyone's going to say, "Yeah, they're going to. We're not going to put them in because they're definitely going to lose."
After Cincinnati, we're not just going to put them in. Also, USC I think they have
USC's
one loss. They're kind of just hanging out.
They got Notre Dame. Oh, dude, they got Notre Dame.
They got Notre Dame, and I need Notre Dame to beat USC because we all know if it's Carolina versus USC, they're taking USC.
I can't wait for the expanded playoff. It's gonna be so fun.
It's
especially you're looking at the Big Ten, these Big Ten games the last couple of weeks. The weather, how insane it is. I mean, I do it as shtick sometimes, but that SEC. The SEC teams would not be able to handle coming north and playing meaningful football in Big Ten stadiums. But dude, like the more I'm like going to these games, and when I was in Evanston,
I can't believe you were at that game.
I won't even say it about Ohio State. I'll say it about Michigan. If Michigan's playing Tennessee in a blizzard,
Michigan dominates.
They win by 4 touchdowns.
Yeah,
it's not even close. So when the playoff comes around, I'm excited for that.
No, I mean
But the same might be true of the like some of these teams go south. I don't know. Maybe Wisconsin plays when Wisconsin's good. They play.
All I know
Georgia
is
and get
if you had a wind factor and you were like the wind is the main thing that we're worried about in the game, and then there's snow coming down. As someone from North Carolina, like I don't want to play in that.
Yeah,
that's
of course.
It's like no chance. There's a fat chance I'm playing in that game. And
dude, Ohio State is the SEC team of the Big Ten, and you see how Ohio State plays in the weather, and we're just like this. We want no part of this.
And you guys turned into the SEC team in the Big Ten because you're trying to win national championships. Because you're trying to beat SEC teams.
And Michigan's like, we're just going to try to win Big Ten football.
I know. And then they get the playoff, and they're like, we already did our part.
Yeah. And then all the Ohio State fans that were used to Trestle ball are like, how did this happen?
Yeah.
How's Michigan the team running the ball?
I do not like
this.
I'm not having fun.
All right. That's probably enough. Do you have anything, Jim? You want to shout anything out?
No, I think that's it.
All right.
Big weekend of college basketball. Big week ahead of college basketball.
Yep.
We got Maui.
We're going to Maui. You're Thursday, right?
Yeah.
So then Thursday.
Yeah. The next time that you hear from Mark Titus and myself, we will be in Maui for the first time since 2019.
What time is that show going to come out? I have no idea. I'll be on Island time.
Yeah.
I'll be on Island time.
Oh my
so.
God. 5 teams in the top 25 in Maui, by the way. Can't wait. Going to be insane. I'm going to say it right now. I got Arizona winning the Maui Invitational. Putting it out there.
I have San Diego State because one, maybe to reverse jinx. I don't know. I won't tell. But Matt Bradley, after the BYU game, he played like garbage. And then I saw that Matt Bradley did the Kobe move where right after the game he was getting shots up.
Oh, I love that.
And that tells me he's hungry and motivated. Tate. He's ready to. I don't know. I see big things from Matt Bradley in the Maui Invitational.
Sign me up.
So
I can't wait to watch. This might be the best Maui field of all time. That's what they're saying out of the Maui.
It's incredible. And next year's is going to be even better.
And think about Maui. I mean, the history of Maui, the fact that they're like, this could be the best Maui field we've ever had. So
we are going to Maui, and we are going to be, just pumping out a lot of Maui content. I'm excited for that. And, we're going out on a boat, right?
Yeah. We're going on a boat with Jay Billis. And the implication there is he has to be our friend. Like, by the time we get done with this boat, like, Jay Billis has to come.
Should we take recording equipment?
I was going to ask you. I wanted to bring my Yellow Tech mic, my little mobile mic, and we just, like what I did to Bill Walton, where I just.
Because he can't run away. He has to do the podcast.
Bill Walton did a promo. He couldn't run away.
Yeah.
He was like, sure, I'll cut a promo.
Works.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm going to say Jay Billis, cut a promo.
That's a great call.
Cut the check.
And he'll start sweating because it's Fox ESPN deal.
I know.
And he knows.
And he's going to have like an ESPN boss right there. And they're like, you can't do it, Jay. And I'm like, Jay, I thought you were a man.
Yeah.
I thought you did what you wanted.
Yeah. Well, then at least speak into this microphone and tell people why you can't do it.
Yeah. Explain yourself. Can't wait.
All right. We're going to be in Maui. Congratulations to Grambling State. Hang the banner. Best
#1 team in the country.
Basketball, until proven otherwise. So there you have it. We will see you guys when we are on the island.
Bang.